After reaching Fogland, all the teachers are assigned to their own areas. Dante's job is to teach the prisoners from behind a bulletproof glass classroom. But when the prisoners are brought in, Dante nearly faints at the sight of them. They look like creatures straight out of the Dark Continent. Still, Dante gathers his courage and introduces himself. "I'm Dante Khan. I'll be your science teacher." He even tries to lighten the mood with a joke. "Just because I'm your science teacher doesn't mean we're going to build rockets and escape this prison." But no one laughs, except for one weird broomstick-looking prisoner. Dante begins teaching them how to grow sweet potatoes. During the lesson, he says something like, "You're all just like sweet potatoes. You have unlimited growth potential." One prisoner, who ironically looks like a sweet potato himself, gets offended and shouts, "How dare you compare me to a sweet potato?" Then, suddenly, all the prisoners start eating the sweet potatoes in front of them. One of them asks Dante angrily, "Stop this nonsense and tell us how to make fog." Dante replies, "I don't know how to make fog." That triggers the prisoner's rage. He smashes his head against the bulletproof glass so hard that it cracks. Dante panics and calls the control room, and within moments, the soldiers open fire on the prisoners. Many of them are killed instantly, but Dante is confused. Why were they shot just for that? But then things get worse. Some of the prisoners don't die. They start massacring the soldiers instead. A tall, monstrous prisoner pulls a huge blade from his own throat and slices soldiers in half. Another one rips out their spines with his bare hands. The entire room turns into a bloodbath, and Dante passes out. When he wakes up, he finds himself inside a prison cell. Sitting next to him is the same masked prisoner who had been silently watching him before. The prisoner has a potato in one hand while his other hand is hidden. He asks, "Can you teach me how to grow sweet potatoes?" Dante, terrified, assumes the prisoner is hiding a knife or a gun in his other hand. He pushes the man away, tackles him, and tries to grab his weapon, but then realizes the man doesn't even have another hand. Feeling guilty, Dante apologizes and says, "Because of your weird behavior, I had to use violence." The prisoner quietly replies, "Teach me how to grow potatoes." Dante snaps, "I don't teach brainless people," and storms out of the cell, only to discover that the entire place is filled with fog. It doesn't even look like a prison anymore. It feels more like a dump yard of nightmares. The masked man warns him to stay quiet, but it's too late. A giant prisoner appears, beats Dante brutally, and steals his clothes. The masked man then takes off his own pants and gives them to Dante, while he pulls out a filthy, torn shirt from a black plastic bag and wears it himself. That's when the masked man finally introduces himself. "My name is Limbo," he says. "Now come on, let's eat." On the other side, the giant man who had stolen Kang's clothes was thinking he should have taken Kang's glasses too. Just then, a tall prisoner walked up to him and asked, "Where did you get that?" The man replied, "I got it from a nerd in Tofu Village who must have just moved there." Without another word, the tall prisoner slammed a huge cleaver into his head, killing him instantly. He said coldly, "Finally, I found you, teacher." Meanwhile, Dante and Limbo were crossing a gray concrete forest on their way to the mess hall. On the way, Dante noticed many prisoners staring at them like hungry wolves, their eyes glassy, as if they were high on something. He also saw bodies of prisoners hanging on the wall, lifeless and dried up. Dante asked Limbo, "What even is this place? Is it a prison or a jungle? The United Nations built this, right? Then why does it look like hell?" Limbo just told him to keep walking quietly. When they reached the mess hall, Dante saw hundreds of prisoners eating like normal inmates, chatting, laughing, and pretending everything was fine. Then his eyes caught a guard standing beside the man serving food. Dante felt a spark of hope and whispered to him, "I'm not a prisoner. I was kidnapped and brought here. My name is Dante Khan. I came here to teach science to the inmates, but now I'm trapped." But the guard just stood there motionless, like a corpse propped up on its feet. Dante sat at a table, only to find another prisoner eating his food. Thinking fast, he decided to use his sharp mind. He said to Limbo, "You wanted to learn how to grow potatoes, right? I'll teach you, but in exchange, help me escape from here." Limbo scoffed, "Do you think I'm stupid? Get lost." Dante asked, "Then how can I contact the outside world?" Limbo replied, "Only the Supreme Leader can do that, and you'll never be one." Just then, a voice echoed from behind. "So, here you are, Mr. Dante Kang." Dante's face lit up with joy. He thought he was finally being rescued. But when he turned around, it was that same psycho, the tall prisoner who had sliced soldiers like salad. Other inmates whispered, "That's one of the 6 shoulders, the Tower." The Tower smiled at Dante and said, "Nice to finally meet you, teacher." Then he asked, "Can you make fog?" He pulled out 10 glowing blue lumps from his pocket and said, "This is fog." Tower tried to shove the lumps into Dante's mouth, but Dante spat them all out. The fallen fog pieces hit the ground, and suddenly, all the prisoners jumped on them like wild zombies, devouring the lumps in frenzy. Those who ate the fog started feeling immense pleasure, moaning in ecstasy. Others screamed at them to spit it out, and when they didn't, they were eaten alive by the rest. Even while being devoured, the victims kept smiling in bliss. Tower turned to Dante and said, "See that, teacher? That's fog. And here, fog is God. So, can you make it?" Dante said quietly, "No, I can't." Tower's expression darkened. "You're a scientist, aren't you? You should know how." Tears streamed down Dante's face. "I've said it 100 times. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a science teacher." Tower growled, "Then you're useless alive," and pulled a long blade from his neck chain. He raised it to strike Dante, who had already accepted his fate. But at that moment, Limbo hurled his fork straight into Tower's arm, snapping the bone. Tower staggered, looking around wildly, thinking someone had shot him. Before he could react, Limbo jumped on him, grabbed his hair, and twisted his neck backward, snapping his spine. The Tower collapsed. The prisoners started screaming, "A new shoulder has been born!" While chaos erupted, Limbo grabbed Dante and escaped the scene. Dante was still shocked at how he survived. He thought to himself, "This dude is strong." Then he asked him, "Why did you assign to that class? Did you want the fog too?" Limbo asked, "Can you really create fog?" Dante got scared and quickly said, No, sorry. Please forgive me." Limbo explained that he had just gone out to get new clothes. When he saw a long line blocking the street, he asked someone what it was for. The guy told him, "Some outsiders are coming to teach us something. You should join too." Limbo wasn't interested at all, but when the guy said they were giving out new clothes, Limbo immediately jumped into the line. Dante asked again, "Then why did you save my life?" Limbo replied, "I was just trying to save my clothes, but you peed on them anyway." They snatched clothes from another prisoner. Dante wore those so he could wash Limbo's pee-soaked ones. Dante asked, "Is there some memory attached to these clothes? When you got new ones, why didn't you throw this garbage away?" Limbo said, "This one has a 182 written on it, so it's mine. And the one you're washing also has 182 on it, so that's mine too." Dante said, "You don't have hands. That's why you've never washed your own clothes, right?" Dante made Limbo take off the clothes he was wearing too, so he could wash them properly, then hung them up to dry. The two of them had been hiding in a room for hours because the shoulders were probably still searching for them outside. But Dante's stomach was growling from hunger. He was regretting not drinking that disgusting soup in the mess hall. He eyed Limbo's sweet potato, but Limbo grabbed it and said, "This potato is mine because it has a 182 written on it. If you touch my sweet potato, I'll kill you." Dante replied, "Your potato is going to die on its own because you carved 182 into it. Now germs will get inside and it'll rot." Hearing this, Limbo got scared and asked, "Is there any way to save it? To revive it?" Dante said, "Yes, there is. We have to show it sunlight. But that's impossible here because the fog in Fogland is so thick that not a single ray of sunlight reaches the ground. At least we should take it to a place where the fog is a little less dense." Dante told him to carry the potato toward the main gate, where the fog was slightly thinner. Meanwhile, at the tower's base, they had called a top-class architect to fix the tower's broken neck. The architect was building supporting structures around the edge of the neck so it would stay straight and heal. The tower was still shocked that someone had broken his super strong neck, stronger than thick metal bars, with just one hand. He was sure the teacher had done it, so now he wanted revenge. Just then, Hound entered. He was also a member of the soldiers. Hound mocked the tower. "What happened to your proud neck? How did it break?" He continued, "Didn't we form an alliance? We agreed that whoever finds the teacher first would share the location with the others, right?" The tower rudely replied, "Stop talking nonsense. I'm going to be the supreme leader." Hound snatched the architect's hammer and said, "With the talent you have, your dreams are way too big." Saying that, he smashed the tower's neck again with the hammer, killed all of Tower's men, and headed toward Tofu Village, where he might find the teacher. On the other side, Limbo and Dante were walking toward the main gate, both carrying heavy bags. Limbo just kept saying, "This is mine." Dante asked, "Why are you wearing that mask? Are you a thief or a robber? What crime did you commit to end up in Fogland, and when did you arrive?" Limbo gave a very strange answer. "I've always been here." Dante didn't understand. Limbo said, "You're the teacher, right? Why do you ask so many questions?" Dante replied, "Teachers are human too." Limbo told him, "Your voice is too loud. Shut up." Dante sat down on the ground and said, "I'm exhausted. I feel like we've been walking in circles for hours. How far is the main gate?" Limbo answered, "I don't know the way to the main gate." Dante yelled in anger, "And you're telling me this now? We've been going round and round for 2 hours. I can't walk anymore. Either carry me on your back or bring food here. Only then can I save your sweet potato." But just then, Limbo suddenly collapses and falls hard on the ground. Dante rushes to him and sees that he's unconscious. Blue liquid is leaking from Limbo's mouth and nose. Dante gets scared and desperately tries to wake him up, saying, "Please don't leave me alone in this dangerous place." But Limbo doesn't move. Suddenly, a man flies down from the sky and lands behind Dante in a superhero pose. He gently opens Dante's eyelids with his fingers and says, "You're normal, right?" The man says, "I heard loud noises, so I came to check what was happening." Scene shifts. Now we see Dante eating food like a starving dog. A girl standing beside him softly tells him to eat slowly. The flying man is also there with them. Dante says thank you to both of them. The man introduces himself as Rambutan, and the girl says her name is Lychee. Dante introduces himself too, but he's shocked to see a girl in this prison. Lychee smiles and says, "Do I really look like a girl? I cut my hair short so I wouldn't look like one." Rambutan explains, "We both came from the center. The closer you go to the center, the weaker the block system becomes." Dante asks, "Do normal people live in the center?" Rambutan laughs. "No, Tofu Village is full of losers. People are thrown here to die. This whole place is a death camp." He asks Dante, "Are you new here? Have you consumed fog yet?" Dante replies, "Actually, I'm not even a real prisoner. That unconscious guy kidnapped me and brought me here so I could grow sweet potatoes for him." Rambutan's eyes widen. "Wait, are you the guy teacher kidnapped during the kidnapping operation?" Dante, "How do you know that?" Rambutan, "Everyone knows. They didn't let other prisoners join that mission because they didn't want any interference." Dante, "Then what was the administration doing?" Both Rambutan and Lychee burst out laughing. "They kidnapped you just for sweet potatoes, not even for fog." But tears start rolling down Dante's cheeks. Rambutan, "So that guy was forcing you to come with him?" Dante, "No, he was actually protecting me like a bodyguard, but suddenly he collapsed. Maybe a heart attack?" Lychee speaks softly. "That's not a heart attack. That's limbo. It's a fog withdrawal symptom. You must have seen prisoners in Tofu Village in terrible condition. They're all suffering from limbo. If someone doesn't get fog for too long, they fall into limbo. And if limbo happens again and again, the victim's brain starts melting." Dante asks, "What exactly is this fog?" They explain, "Fog is a divine medicine that gives you talent. Or rather, it amplifies a hidden talent you have, even one you don't know about, or a skill you worked really hard to master. It breaks human limits." Dante, "Is that even possible?" They nod. "Not just possible, it gives you power beyond human limits." We see Rambutan's ability, monstrous, giant hammer-like muscles. Lychee's ability isn't shown yet, but there's a small bump glowing on her forehead. They say, "We're going to escape this prison using our powers." Meanwhile, Hound and his team have reached Tofu Village, but it's empty. They believe Dante and Limbo haven't gone far. We also learn the names of some zero-block enforcers who are hunting Teacher: Bone Eater, No Face, Fuzzy Back, and Drillhead. Back to our group. Rambutan and Lychee offer Dante to join their prison break. Dante hesitates. "Soldiers will come to rescue me. If I'm caught escaping with criminals, They'll treat me like a real prisoner forever. Or worse, all three of us could get killed. Rambutan. No one from outside ever enters Fogland. They'd become fog addicts too and couldn't survive without it. Dante. I'll never touch fog. I never even thought about it. Rambutan gives him a serious look and says something that shocks Dante into silence. That's not up to you anymore. How many days have you been in Fogland? 2? 3? This thick fog you see all around? The air itself is full of fog particles. You need a huge amount of fog to awaken a talent. But just breathing the air here is enough to make you an addict. The fog enters your lungs and creates craving in your body. The body demands more and more. And if you don't get it, you fall into limbo. Dante panicking. So, am I already addicted? Rambutan. Not fully yet. There's still a small chance. Limbo is the first stage. Every person's body reacts differently, but it's nothing to relax about. Dante. Then you two are already addicts? Both nod. Yes, and we've never heard of anyone escaping Fogland alive. Maybe in the future they'll find a cure or antidote outside. But we made a promise to each other. We will not die in Fogland. Even if we fall into limbo again, even if we lose our memories and each other, we will meet again under a clear sky. Dante feels their determination. They're dead serious. Just then, Limbo wakes up. Dante gets scared after seeing Limbo. He thinks that if he tells Limbo about the prison escape, Limbo might attack him, because Limbo loves his potato so much and wants to keep it alive. But Dante doesn't want to waste time on the potato. Rambutan asks Dante, "Are you really scared of this guy? He's just a fog zombie. If someone falls into limbo, they have no strength at all until they consume fog again. Even you could beat him." Hearing this, Dante calms down and says, "I was just worried he might hurt you two." Rambutan aims a kick toward Limbo and asks, "Should I just kill him?" Dante says, "No, there's no need." He walks up to Limbo and says, "I'm leaving this place now. It's time for us to go our separate ways. You understand, right?" Limbo only says, "Sweet potato?" Dante snatches the sweet potato from him, fills a cup with water, puts the potato in it, and explains, "This way, your sweet potato will grow on its own and get bigger. And of course it needs sunlight. Come on, quickly take your dear friend sweet potato to the sunlight, or the sun will set." Limbo says, "I don't know the way." Dante asks Rambutan to chase Limbo away from there. Then he says to Rambutan, "I'll go with you, no matter what. Even if I become a real prisoner or die while escaping, I'm with you. Let's get out of this filthy place." Sometime later, Limbo becomes so weak that he can't even hold the cup with the potato and falls down. We see a flashback of Limbo's childhood. A little girl is with him. They're watching TV, but there's only static on the screen. The girl tells him about cats. When Limbo doesn't understand, she explains, "Cats are animals like crows. Their whole body is covered in fur. If we raise one, it will understand us. When we call it, it will come to us. I want to have a cat when I get out of this place." Tears are flowing from the girl's eyes as she says this. Meanwhile, in the present, two prisoners are talking. That this thing moved 20 centimeters. The thing is an indescribable potato-shaped monster holding a half-eaten prisoner in one hand. The two prisoners say, "That prisoner probably tried to escape." On the other side, Dante asks Rambutan, "So, what's your plan? How are we going to escape this prison?" Rambutan says, "I'll show you," and jumps upward with so much force that he breaks through the roof and gets out. Their plan is to use Rambutan's power to jump from rooftop to rooftop and escape the prison that way. Then Litchi touches the bump on her head, takes mental screenshots of the entire landscape, and combines all the screenshots in her mind to create a map of this part of the prison. But it's only a very tiny part of the prison. Dante is shocked. Such a huge map and its only fraction? Looking at the size of Tofu Village on the map, they realize they still have a very long distance to cover. Litchi tells them which direction to go. Rambutan grabs both of them tightly and starts jumping from roof to roof. Litchi keeps taking mental screenshots of the area from the air. Meanwhile, Limbo is demanding other fog addicts for fog. When they say they don't have any, he asks them to show their pockets. They start beating him. One guy with a spoon comes close and says, "I heard you can get fog from human flesh too." Bone Eater eats people for fog as well. He's about to scoop out Limbo's eye with the spoon when a powerful slap hits the guy's face. He flies back, falls, and his eardrum bursts. The fog zombies run away, shouting, "This guy might be one of Hound's men." Hound looks at Limbo and says, "Finally found you, baghead." We're taken to another flashback, where Hound had come to kidnap Dante when soldiers and prisoners were killing each other. He quietly picked up Dante and ran, thinking, "Damn tower is using my men as meat shields." Tears were in Hound's eyes, and he sees Limbo is actually following Hound. Hound thinks, this guy is probably from Drillhead's team. Limbo, holding his sweet potato, asks Hound, "Are you a sweet potato animal too?" Hound doesn't understand. Limbo asks, "Can I ask Teacher?" Hound is grieving his dead men. Limbo keeps asking him to wake Teacher up. In anger, Hound throws Teacher away, charges at Limbo with full speed, and punches him in the face with all his power. But Limbo dodges it easily. Then, with the same hand that was holding the potato, Limbo uses just 2 fingers to strike Hound's ribs, and Hound collapses on the spot. Limbo picks up Teacher and runs away. Over here, Hound catches Limbo by his hair, calls him a thief, and asks him, "Is the Teacher doing well?" On the other side, Rambutan is trying to save Dante and the Teacher from Drillhead. He kicks Drillhead hard in the face and throws him far away. Drillhead can't understand what kind of monster this Rambutan guy is. Rambutan tells him to get out of the way and says, "The Teacher is coming with us because we found him first." Suddenly, Drillhead does a ballet spin, dives straight into the ground, and comes out right under Dante's feet. Rambutan manages to pull Dante away just in time, but Drillhead is now popping out from different holes in the ground like a whack-a-mole, disappearing and reappearing super fast because of his drilling speed. Rambutan tries to stomp on him with his feet but keeps missing. Then, Drillhead suddenly bursts out from behind Rambutan and drills right into his butt. Rambutan flies forward, crashes, and passes out. Seeing this, Litchi screams, and everyone present realizes that Litchi is actually a girl. All the nearby goons immediately jump on her. Dante thinks, all of this is happening because of me. To save the girl, he starts picking up rocks and wildly throwing them at the goons attacking Litchi. In the chaos, one rock accidentally hits Litchi too. Dante grabs her hand, pulls her, and tries to run away with her. Drillhead doesn't want to let such a pretty girl escape either. But just then, Rambutan wakes up. He runs to save both of them, but he only manages to save Litchi. Drillhead grabs Dante and drags him underground with him. Meanwhile, on the other side, Hound brings Limbo to his hideout. He asks Limbo, "Were you in the Special Forces before?" "I was too. I've fought in real battles before coming to this Fogland." Hound tells a guy named Slick to make Limbo spill the Teacher's location. Use any dirty trick, torture him if needed, and don't show any mercy. Then Hound leaves. But Slick has other plans. He's thinking, "I'm going to become the supreme leader myself." He tells his men, "You guys also have special abilities. Any one of you could become supreme leader too. If anyone gets the chance, they should take it." Honestly, I think Hound is an idiot. You can't become supreme leader just with physical strength. I'll get the Teacher's location out of this kid, won't tell anyone, and then I'll become the supreme leader. "Whose side are you guys on?" he asks his crew. Then he turns to Limbo and says, "Hey kid, do you want this fog? I can give it to you." Limbo's eyes light up. Scene shifts. Drillhead has brought Dante to his underground hideout through a tunnel. He says, "Welcome to my underground kingdom." Scene shifts back to Hound's hideout. Slick is tossing fog into his own mouth and tells Limbo, "I can give you fog forever, but you have to work under me. Think carefully. I don't give second chances. Just tell me where the Teacher is." He tries to tempt Limbo and swallows the fog, but before it even goes down his stomach, Limbo lunges at his neck, bites and snatches both the fog and part of Slick's throat. The men standing there are shocked. What the hell just happened? Limbo looks at all of them like a hungry lion staring at lambs. Meanwhile, in Drillhead's underground base, Dante is thinking, I hope Rambutan and Litchi escaped. Yeah, they must have run far away by now. And why would they even come back to save me? I'm done for. Drillhead asks Dante, "So, can you really make fog? People from Tofu Village said you instantly created fog, ate it and snapped Tower's neck in one go. Dante thinks to himself, what kind of stupid rumor is this? But still, Dante smiles on his face and calmly says in a quiet voice, yes, this is true. I immediately created a huge fog and broke the tower with ease. After that, the tower fell at my feet like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. But Drill shouts, stop all this bullshit, it's all lies. I'm not an idiot like the other shoulders. I'm different. I don't believe in this superstition that a science teacher can create fog. Dante, without any fear and fully confident, says, if fog could not be created, then fog wouldn't even existed. Drill replies, no, fog can't be created. It fell from the sky 50 years ago as a gift from God. But now there's a rumor that not much fog is left. Judgment Day is coming soon. Dante says, so fog is a limited resource? Drill says, yes, and whatever little fog is left, that's why the prisoners are fighting and killing each other for it. But I think fog must have a cycle too. Then he orders his men to bring a dead body of someone who had consumed a lot of fog and died. He asks Dante, can we scientifically extract fog from the body of this dead person who consumed fog? Is it possible to separate fog from his blood scientifically? Dante gets nervous seeing the corpse. But Drill continues and asks, can this be done with a 3D maneuver gear or using centrifugal machine thing? This guy consumed a huge amount of fog, which means there must be fog in his blood. Dante says, so you want to squeeze a dead body? Drill smiles evilly and says, yes, if it's scientifically possible. Then Dante, panicking, says, why don't we just spread our nostrils wide and take deep breaths? There's fog in the air here too, right? Hearing this, Drill gets furious, grabs Dante by the throat and shouts, what nonsense are you talking? If that were possible, people wouldn't be killing each other for fog. We can't just gather it like that. We have to scrape it together and compress it. But Dante, still smiling, says, it is possible. Air can be collected. Meanwhile, on the other side, Hound reaches his hideout and finds out his men have been brutally killed. Hound falls to his knees right there and starts crying and screaming. On another side, Limbo has reached the cafeteria. For some reason, his hand is badly swollen. He breaks the line and asks the food server for water. The prisoners start shouting at him, follow the rules, stand in line. In anger, Limbo breaks the food table. The scene shifts, and we see that somehow Dante has successfully collected fog. He laughs in his mind and thinks, I've succeeded. Now no one can touch me. On the other side, Limbo is staring at a sweet potato lying in a glass of water. He realizes the potato isn't growing at all. He says angrily, teacher, you lied to me. I won't let you live. On the other side, Rambutan and Lychee meet a short man who looks like a dumbass unhatched egg. They tell him, we're going to escape this prison through a secret route. Do you want to come with us? The little man's face instantly fills with anger. He pulls out a knife and says, get out of here right now or else. Both of them move forward. Lychee says, no matter how stupid, dumb, or Jujutsu Kaisen fan someone looks here, everyone knows about that thing. Rambutan adds, only the teacher doesn't know about it. Lychee says, the location is on the Drill's handout map. Her expression was very serious. It seemed like both of them were planning to rescue Dante. Meanwhile, Dante has made a simple fog-catching system using mesh and bamboo. Drill is completely shocked seeing this. To check if it's real fog, he tastes the water and confirms it's 100% pure fog. After that, Drill and his men start dancing with joy. They put a garland of flowers around Dante's head and everyone toss him into the air, shouting, teacher, teacher, happily. In the next scene, Dante is wearing a formal shirt, pants, and tie made from prison clothes. Drill had it specially made for him. Drill says, in formal clothes, you look like a completely different person. Maybe this kind of dress suits your true nature. Drill welcomes him into the team and says, from today, we will all give you the highest respect. In his mind, Dante thinks, this drillhead is one of Supreme Leader's closest men. Through him, I can contact the outside world and escape from here. Drill says, today we're organizing a very big festival. Because of you, we no longer need to store fog. Today we will use every single bit of fog I've collected so far for my ascension. Next scene, a huge plate filled with all the collected fog is placed in the center of a big hall. Drill's men are dancing around it, playing drums and making noise. With one clap, Drill silences everyone. Dante thinks everyone present will consume the fog together. Drillhead announces loudly, "I am the king of the underground Drillhead, and my Drillhead brothers. This is the moment our hard work has paid off. With all the fog we've saved until today, I will challenge Ascension. Do you believe in Ascension?" All his men shout together, "We believe! We believe! Ascend! Ascend!" Drill turns to Dante and says, "Watch carefully, teacher. This is the true birth of a king." Saying this, Drill starts eating the fog like a starving dog. Dante thinks, "What, he's eating all of it alone?" His men keep shouting, "Ascend! Ascend!" while Drill keeps devouring the fog without stopping. He finishes every last bit. One man asks, "Are you okay, Drillhead?" Drill's belly is completely stuffed with fog, but he says, "Looks like today isn't my day." Even after eating so much fog, nothing has changed. His man replies, "No problem. We don't have a fog shortage anymore. We'll try again another day." But another man says, "Look, his head has grown taller than before." And it was true. His head had actually become much taller. The men start shouting, "Ascension! Ascension!" again. Someone asks, "How do you feel? Do you feel any new talent?" Drill says, "I can feel the entire universe. I can see the place where the fog came from. We all live in a blue pale hell." As soon as he says this, Drillhead explodes. His flesh and the fog inside him splatter all over the hall. Everyone screams, "It's the fall! The boss has finally fallen!" Dante's whole body is covered in pieces of fog and flesh. He can't understand what just happened. All of Drill's men start collecting the scattered fog and eating it, even the skin of Drill. They don't leave anything. Whoever eats the fog starts exploding one by one. And this is what they call the Great Fog Festival. One man shouts to everyone, "Stop! If we keep eating fog like this, none of us will survive." He turns to Dante and says, "Teacher, please stop everyone. Now you have to become the leader, or everything will be destroyed. We'll all die." But at that moment, Drill's remaining men start chasing Dante to catch him. Dante still doesn't understand what's going on. He wonders if he's seeing some kind of nightmare, or if all of this is even real. Then a man with a completely round, blank face scolds Dante and says, "I already warned you before." Dante pleads with him, "Young, please get me out of this place." But the man replies, "It doesn't matter anymore." Actually, the circle-faced man is Dante's older brother. But Dante has no idea what his brother's real face looks like. Ever since childhood, Dante has suffered from a condition called selective prosopagnosia. Selective prosopagnosia is a disorder where a person can't recognize faces anymore, but they can still recognize objects perfectly. It can be mild or severe. Some people can't recognize strangers, others can't even recognize close family or their own reflection. They have to identify people by voice, walking style, hairstyle, clothes, etc. Because of this disease, Dante always saw his brother as some kind of strange creature. So, to make it simpler for himself, he imagined his brother as just a plain circle. Suddenly, Dante's eyes snap open. His nightmare shattered, and he finds himself lying next to Lychee and Rambutan. They had rescued him. The two tell him they found him unconscious in the sewers. Dante is shocked that they came to save him. Ichi says, "We promised we'd escape prison together." Dante apologizes, "I'm sorry I held you up, but let's escape right now." Lychee replies, "Rambutan is completely exhausted. We've already come really far. Look, we're right at the front wall, and we even found a spot with no guard towers. They've lit a campfire." Rambutan asks, "So Drill is dead?" Dante nods. "Yeah, he's dead. Everyone back there went insane and started exploding after eating too much fog." Rambutan explains, "That's called falling. Death from fog overdose. Like we told you, the more fog you consume, the stronger you get. But there's a limit. Nobody knows exactly where that limit is. If you cross it, your body explodes. Everyone is just waiting for someone to fall. There's no third outcome. Fall means death. Ascension means breaking past the limit and gaining a second talent. After ascension, people follow and worship that person. Ascension is extremely rare. Usually people fall. Dante asks, "People take this huge risk just for a second talent?" Rambutan answers, "It's more like a legend. They say one day a person will come who has infinite talents, someone who will break every law of this world and free all of us. That person will become our God. That's who we call the Supreme Leader. Cut to Limbo. His eyes are closed, but he can sense everything around him. The sound of crawling insects, the growling stomachs of hungry prisoners, birds flying, prisoners fighting. He also hears the faint click of Dante's glasses. Limbo now knows exactly where Dante is. Maybe he awakened his talent. I think his talent holds ability like cats. It's just my assumption now. Let's continue the story. Meanwhile, inside Drillhead's base, some men wearing full plague doctor masks and protective suits are collecting Drill's flesh and fog. One man with bag-like mask says, "Every day someone falls here." While collecting fog, a red-haired man hands him a packet and says, "Hey tourist, keep this. High-quality fog." Then the red-haired guy asks, "Did you find that man?" Bag mask guy. "Who? The one-armed guy?" He shrugs. "Who knows? Maybe." Red-haired. "It's been a whole year and that's all you know?" Bag mask. "Look, this job isn't profitable for me anymore. After all, this is an order from the Fogland Operations Bureau, right?" Red-haired snaps, "Stop talking nonsense." Bag mask. "Prices have gone up this year. Can you pay me more?" Red-haired. "If you bring him to me, I'll pay whatever you ask." The red-haired man's eyes are glowing. He's probably a fog user too. On the other side, morning has come. Dante, Lychee, and Rambutan are fully ready for the prison escape. Dante notices bloodstains on the wall. When he asks Rambutan about it, Rambutan says, "I don't know either. There was no sound at night." For some reason, Dante's heart starts pounding with unease. Still, Dante asks, "Can I help you somehow?" Rambutan says yes and hands him a bag, telling him to keep it safe carefully. Then he asks, "Do you believe in God?" Dante replies, "Well, my family is Catholic for sure, but I don't believe in God." Rambutan asks, "Can you recite a prayer?" Dante says, "Yes, I can, but I only know the Our Father." Rambutan smiles and says, "Yes, that will work perfectly. Now come on, let's get out of here." He pulls both Dante and Lychee close under his arms. Lychee says, "Master Dante, start praying." Dante begins reciting the prayer. Just as Rambutan gathers all his strength to jump, a powerful punch suddenly lands straight on Rambutan's face. It was Limbo who hit him. All three fall to the ground, and blood starts flowing from Rambutan's nose. Limbo's glowing blue eyes stare at them like a hungry lion. Dante asks him, "How did you get here?" Limbo shouts, "You lied to me!" He steps forward to punch Dante. Dante barely manages to dodge and tries to run for his life. But suddenly, Rambutan grabs Lychee and Dante and starts running at full speed. However, Limbo is way too fast. He catches up to them effortlessly. Rambutan can't understand how this guy suddenly became so strong and fast. Does he have some running talent? Limbo yells at the teacher, "Stop or I'll break your legs," and attacks again, causing all three to fall once more. Now Limbo is standing right in front of Dante. Dante asks, "What did I lie to you about? Tell me." "I told you how potatoes grow, right?" Limbo says angrily, "I did exactly what you said. I watered the potato, gave it sunlight, and still nothing happened." Dante replies, "Are you an idiot? It's only been one day. How can it grow so fast?" Limbo asks, "So I've just been wasting my time?" Dante says, "No, not at all. Everything takes time to grow. Isn't that obvious, dumbass? You have to wait at least a week to see if it will grow or not." Limbo calms down a little. "Oh, I get it now. But where are you going?" Dante answers, "I told you, I'm getting out of this hell. And now, you don't even need me anymore." Limbo looks at Rambutan and Lychee and says, "So, all this happened because of these two?" Dante quickly tells Limbo not to harm them and to just leave. But Limbo replies coldly, "Do you want to die? You told me you wanted to live, remember? And now you're ready to die for them?" Rambutan angrily tells him to shut up, then gives an evil smile and says, "Just get lost from here." He turns to Dante and says, "Dante, come with us." Dante feels extremely uneasy and hesitates to go with them. Rambutan grabs Dante's hand and says, "You're listening to this lunatic? His brain is literally melting. Don't listen to him." From behind, Lychee whispers urgently to Rambutan, "Grab the teacher and run fast." Right in front of Limbo, Rambutan forcibly grabs Dante and starts running, shouting, "Master Dante, pray faster!" Rambutan then jumps with full power toward the top of the wall. Dante's gut is screaming that something terrible is about to happen. Flashbacks rush through his mind, how Rambutan kept protecting him for no reason, how he was even ready to kill Limbo for him. He thinks to himself, I actually like them. They've cared for me so much. We made a promise to escape this prison together. Suddenly, mid-air, Rambutan pushes Dante away from himself and kicks him hard. Rambutan and Litchi escape in the opposite direction. The bag that Rambutan had given Dante falls and breaks open. Fog pours out of it and starts spreading everywhere. Meanwhile, two other prisoners looking for the potato monster notice it's gone from its spot. They say, looks like someone is trying to escape the prison again. And here we see the potato monster has reached Dante. He is about to fall straight into the monster's mouth. A few days ago, a scene is shown where Litchi and Rambutan are standing right in front of that same potato monster. Litchi is making a full map of the entire area. Rambutan is touching the monster. Litchi tells him not to do that. We are told the monster's name is Gargoyle. Rambutan says, it just looks like a statue. It doesn't move until someone tries to run away. Rambutan kicks the potato monster and says, so it really is alive. I can't believe such a pathetic thing can stop us from escaping. Litchi says, people say this thing came with the fog. Some also say it's a machine made by the government to stop the fog from leaking. When Rambutan looks confused about it, Litchi explains, yes, fog leakage. The fog on the human body, the fog we breathe in, all of it. They don't want that fog to disappear, so they keep blocking people from taking it out. Rambutan asks, do you think this thing can think? Litchi replies, it feels like it can. This thing can sense the fog. It immediately knows who is thinking of escaping. As long as the gargoyle is here, we will never be able to leave this place. The more I dream of the outside world and sunlight, the more despair grows inside me. Rambutan holds Litchi's hand and says, no, I won't let that happen. There has to be a way out for us. I promised you that I will get you out of this place. Trust me. For you, I can do anything. Cut to present. Rambutan jumps over the wall to the outside. At the same moment, the potato monster eats Dante. Laughing, Rambutan says, it worked. The fog in his bag and those stupid prayers. The gargoyle thinks Dante is the one who escaped with the fog. Saying this, Rambutan jumps down the wall, lands on the ground, and looks at the sun in front of him. He says, we did it. Now we're free, right, Litchi? But Litchi's voice doesn't come. When he looks over his shoulder, he sees that Litchi's head is completely missing. He is only carrying Litchi's headless body hanging on his shoulder. And the potato monster is chewing her head, standing on one leg. Rambutan just watches his love being chewed like chewing gum. In rage, he throws Litchi's body away and charges at the potato monster to attack. But before he can land his kick, the potato monster prepares a blue energy ball in its mouth and fires the energy beam attack straight at Rambutan's legs. Rambutan just screams. Now the potato monster walks back inside the prison. Limbo is standing in front of it. Limbo clenches his swollen fist, runs toward the monster, and with his swollen arm, like Luffy's elephant gun, punches the monster's closed mouth so hard that the mouth cracks. The monster fires its blue energy beam, but Limbo survives. Only a cut appears on his cheek from the attack. After that, Limbo keeps punching the mouth until it completely breaks apart. When the potato monster's mouth breaks, we see that the teacher is still alive inside the mouth, terrified. He looks at Limbo and says, please help me. I was wrong. Please. Limbo grabs Dante with his swollen hand, pulls him out of the monster's mouth, and throws him on the ground. Dante grabs Limbo's leg and says, I thought I was going to die. I thought you came to kill me too. Why are you acting so terrifying? Limbo tells him to open his eyes and says, say I won't go anywhere anymore. By this time the monster has come very close to both of them, seeing which Dante starts screaming. He shouts, 182, run fast, the monster is here. Limbo kicks Dante and says, tell him I won't leave again. I told you many times, there is no way out of this place. I'm not lying. Hurry up and say what I told you to say. Finally, Dante says, I won't leave again. The moment Dante says this, the potato monster instantly disappears from there. Dante says, what kind of creature was that? Am I dreaming? He asks Limbo, "What happened to Lychee and Rambutan? Did they escape?" Limbo replies, "Both of them are dead. What you just saw was not an illusion. Anyone who tries to escape this land will die, no matter how strong they are. No one can defeat the Hollow One." Then we are shown the corpses of Lychee and Rambutan. Rambutan's both legs are missing, and Lychee has no head, meaning their talents were taken away from them by Hollow One. The scene shifts to Bone Eater, the cannibal known as Bone Eater. The same guy with the bag mask is standing in front of him and asks, "Do you really eat people? Or did you just keep that name to scare people?" Bone Eater sticks out his long tongue, touches him with it, and says, "I'm also curious what you taste like." Then he asks, "You seem very brave, kid. What brings you here?" Bag Mask says, "I want you to help me find someone." He shows him a photo and says, "This is prisoner number 182, height 182 centimeters, has 2 moles on the right side of his face, missing his right arm." Bone Eater looks at the photo and says, "He looks delicious. Can I eat him?" Bag Mask replies, "Well, if you like him so much, what can I do?" Bone Eater says, "You know me really well. Who are you actually?" Bag Mask answers, "This is me living in a region where only the strong survive. I am a senior of District A." And we see there is a zipper on Bag Mask's arm. I'm not sure if the zip is on his clothes or on his actual skin. And what problem does he have with Limbo? I don't know. Here we see the potato monster has returned to the same place. 2 prisoners are saying the wicked golem is back, and they say that this time it hasn't left anyone alive. One of them says, "Look, its teeth are broken. What happened? Is the wicked golem injured? Could something like that even be possible?" Just then, a cloaked man arrives. He has completely covered his face. He says, "It's an omen." The 2 of them scream, "Baba Yaga." The mysterious man laughs, "Ha ha ha ha." The prisoners say, 5 years have passed. This is the first time he has opened his mouth today, and a very foul smell is coming from his mouth. Baba Yaga says, "It's a huge omen. A crack has appeared on the chin. It's prophecy." The prisoners say, "Write it down quickly." He says, "The bird has taken flight." Baba Yaga spreads his hands and says, "That day is approaching." And we also see Baba Yaga's face, whose head is elongated backwards, and his face is like an alien who hasn't eaten for 8-10 months. The scene shifts to Teacher and Limbo. Teacher asks, "Were Lychee and Rambutan really killed?" Limbo says, "Yes, but they were not killed by that monster. There isn't just one, there are more than one." Teacher yells, "What is this thing? After all?" Limbo says, "It's something that hunts those who try to leave Fogland and kills them." Teacher is still unable to understand what is happening. How can such a thing exist? And Lychee and Rambutan never told them about such a thing. Limbo says, "They are both liars." Teacher keeps repeating the same thing over and over because he still hasn't processed it. And he also asks, "Does the outside world know about this? That such a thing exists that stops prisoners from leaving? This dangerous monster that kills people who escape from the prison?" Limbo just tells him to shut up and says, "You've seen it with your own eyes, so why don't you believe it? If you try to cross the wall, you will be killed. There is no way out of here. Get that into your head." Dante just stares at him silently and falls to his knees. And he is just thinking, "I wish this was a lie. It can't be happening." And he is trying to console himself, and he loudly screams that it can't be. Limbo, frustrated, punches him hard and tells him to shut up again. In the next scene, we see that Dante and Limbo are sitting down to eat. A plate of food is in front of them. Limbo tries to eat, but his hand is swollen, due to which he can't hold the spoon and is unable to eat. Meanwhile, Dante is still thinking about the previous incident. What is that monster? Is it some security system of the prison? Is it a machine? Is it a monster? Or are all these hallucinations? But whatever it is, that monster or that thing is powerful enough to stop these monstrous prisoners. He admits that he was just a bait, which Rambutan and Lychee used to escape from there, and he thinks, "Damn, I was so close. What's the point of thinking about others now? My start was so bad because I was so obsessed with escaping. I didn't think properly, I just believed it." And looking towards Limbo, he thinks, "But why is this guy trying to save me? Is he hiding something?" This time, he didn't even ask about potatoes from me. There was no temptation to grow sweet potatoes because I had told him everything. Not for clothes, not for fog. He didn't even know I had fog. Is he really a good person? Even though I said terrible things to him, I didn't even behave well with him. Despite all this, Teacher asks Limbo, "What happened to your hand? Why is it like this?" Limbo hides his hand and says, No, it's nothing. I'm fine. Teacher goes near his hand and says, it is even more swollen than before. Limbo says, leave it, I'm fine, don't pay attention to it. Teacher says, you need to go to the hospital. Limbo says, it's just a fracture. But teacher says, this doesn't look normal. It's too swollen. Does it hurt? Teacher touches his hand to check. And when he looks at Limbo's face, he finds that he is in pain, but he is just not showing it. He is enduring it. In the next scene, we see Limbo's hand has been bandaged. It has been bandaged and hung around his neck. Limbo does not like this and asks to remove it. Teacher says, this is just temporary. If you move more, it will hurt even more. Limbo says, remove it quickly. I have to eat. Teacher says, even if I removed it, you wouldn't be able to eat. Limbo says, I have to go to the bathroom. Remember, teacher says, don't you understand how dangerous this is? If you don't get treated quickly, you will never be able to use your other hand either. Do you think you can spend your whole life with just your 2 feet? Right now, we are both weak and stupid. Limbo says, then let's go. Let's go to the hospital. Teacher asks, where? Where is the hospital? Is there really a hospital here? Limbo says, yes. Teacher asks, are you talking about one of those butchers? Limbo says, no, he's a doctor, a real doctor. Teacher asks, where is he? Limbo says, I don't know. Teacher gets lost in thought. Does a doctor really exist here? Limbo tells him, I fought with him before. I think he must be somewhere in Zone 0. Now teacher thinks, Zone 0. Yes, this place is too big, excessively big. I saw it in the drawing. Just then, the thought of the drawing clicks in his mind. He immediately goes to his bag and takes out the drawing. There was also some fog kept in that bag. While taking out the drawing, the fog also comes up, which makes Limbo very surprised. Here, looking at the map, teacher thinks, my mother always used to say that whatever happens, happens for the good. Although I don't believe in God, I certainly believe in this. Then he starts looking at the areas on the map where he sees many places. And he also spots a medical center there. And we see Limbo in the back is completely high from consuming fog. He is not moving at all. He is bent backward and looking up at the sky, and blue fog is coming out of his mouth. Here, teacher is looking at the map and thinking, this map looks completely like a pizza. 4 zones are divided here. There should also be some headquarters that controls all these things. After looking at the entire map, he doesn't find the location of the headquarters anywhere. But then he sees that the page behind the map is folded. It has been folded and attached with tape. When he removes it, he finds that it was the location of the command center, meaning the Fog HQ, and this is right in the middle of Fogland. Seeing this, a ray of hope appears in his eyes. He says, hey, 182, I have a plan. We are going to the center. But when he looks at Limbo, Limbo is completely high on the fog. After this, we are shown another scene. It is of the information broker base. We see the information broker is holding a packet of fog and thinking, these days, business is very good. If I'm lucky, I'll even find that one-armed guy. Just then, one of his men yells from outside, hey Kasim, you've got a new customer. Kasim tells him to come inside, and when that guy comes in, that guy is none other than Bone Eater, which makes Kasim very scared, and he thinks it's him, the most dangerous guy among the thugs of Zone 0. Why is he here? Bone Eater shows Kasim a picture of Limbo and says that he needs to find this person. Kasim looks at Limbo and says, the Bloodhound is also looking for him. Bone Eater asks, have you seen him anywhere? Kasim is happy inside because he has received a double request, due to which he will get double the money for doing the same job. Kasim asks Bone Eater, how much money will you give? Bone Eater says, the price is your life. I think that's enough. Kasim says, you're so boring. You know that attacking an informer is against the rules in this world. Just then, Bone Eater rips off his ear with his hands and eats it. Bone Eater likes the taste of his ear and says, if you don't do my job quickly, my craving for the flavor of your organs will only increase. On the other hand, Dante is exploring the map thoroughly. He manages to find the Fog HQ, but he notices that the area surrounding the HQ hasn't been drawn at all. Dante thinks to himself, even Litchi couldn't make it this far. Looking at the map, he sees a spot marked with blue pen, the women's wing. We then see a Limbo lying unconscious behind Dante, with blue fog leaking from his mouth. Suddenly, Dante remembers Lara. Lara was a science teacher too, who had brought alongside him in this prison just so she could teach the prisoners science. He wonders if Lara has been kidnapped too, but then dismisses the thought, thinking, no, she couldn't have been. It's just my bad luck that I got stuck here. In another scene, we see someone's cake being slapped and voices demanding to shake it harder. This cake belongs to none other than Lara. She is trapped in the women's wing, and her face is covered in Harley Quinn-style makeup. Female prisoners are shouting behind her, shake it harder. Lara has no choice but to obey them. The story then shifts to Lara's point of view. She explains, The place I was assigned to was the women's wing. My route was completely different from the other teachers. I had to go to the other side. She was being guided by a tall agent. She asked the agent what her classroom looked like, but the agent simply told her to get into the car. When she asked if the classroom was far, the agent just said, "Get in the car, kid." The moment he called her kid, she felt something was wrong. The agent then asked, "You are the science teacher, right?" And Lara confirmed, "Yes, that's right." At that moment, the agent pulled off his mask, revealing a wide smile with large teeth. He threw his helmet away, revealing he wasn't an agent at all. He was a man with hair like a super saiyan, laughing like a madman. He shouted, "We are going together to the end of this world." After that, she was brought to a place called the Queenstown. Back in the present, the prisoners tell Lara to shake, and she just sits there crying. A one-eyed prisoner approaches her and says, "Are you crying again?" She pushes Lara away, saying, "You're ruining the taste of my booze." She asks Lara if she is actually making progress on the fog research, saying, "Be honest, you can't make it, can you? If you have even one result, bring it to me. You can't, right?" The prisoner then grabs Lara and threatens her with a knife, saying, "You will have to pay the price. There is no hope. The price for deceiving the boss. Right now, the only thing I believe in is..." Suddenly, a heavy voice tells her to stop. The other prisoners are shocked to see her. It is Kaylee. Everyone calls her Kaylee. She tells the one-eyed prisoner, "This joke has gone too far, Knox." We learn the one-eyed prisoner's name is Knox. Kaylee walks up to Lara and asks, "What's going on, my little baby bird?" Knox argues, "Kaylee, listen to me. She is totally lying. She says she can't make the fog." But Lara screams, "No, I can make it. I really can." Knox claims it's all nonsense and that Lara is just fooling them. Kaylee says, "My baby bird says she can make it." Frustrated, Knox leaves, warning, "Kaylee, you will regret this." Kali asks Lara, "Shall we go, my baby bird?" In the next scene, Kali is holding Lara in her lap. She says, "I should have held you tight like this the whole time." Lara says, "I'm okay." Kaylee asks, "Is there anything you need help with? Just say the word." We then learn about Kali. She is one of the leaders of the women's wing, known as the attendant sorcerer. It is said she can apply immense strength to any part of her body. Normally, she keeps her neck tensed to guard against sudden attacks. She is also the one who kidnapped Lara. Kaylee asks if the fog research is going well, mentioning she brought Lara a sack of sugar last time. She warns, "Don't tell me what Knox said is true. Can you really make the fog?" Lara replies, "Yes, it's almost done. I just don't have enough time. Knox won't leave me alone. I can't make it if I'm just dragging things out with excuses." Kaylee gets angry and says, "Is that all you need? You should have told me from the start. Wait here, I'll go talk to Knox." Kaylee runs off shouting Knox's name. Lara thinks, "I shouldn't have said anything. She'll think I tattled on her." Immediately, Kaylee returns. Lara asks, "Did you tell her?" Kaylee says, "Yeah, I won't let anyone take my baby bird's time ever again." Lara tries to say that Knox will be upset, but Kaylee interrupts, "Right, Knox? I'm telling the truth, aren't I?" We see Knox peeking from behind her. Lara is horrified to realize that Kaylee has ripped off Knox's head and is holding it in her hand. Kaylee says, "Now you've got plenty of time, right?" She starts laughing loudly while applying pressure to her own cheeks and says, "The fog is finally going to be made." Lara is left trembling in terror. Meanwhile, Limbo and Dante are approaching Dumpling Village. Limbo is carrying a heavy load on his back as usual. Dante has wrapped a strange cloth around his face and is walking with an odd gait. Limbo asks what he is doing. Dante explains that to look like the prisoners here, he has to act like them. Dante is also breathing heavily and strangely. Limbo tells him, "Don't breathe like that. It's annoying. Plus, you're too slow. I'm not going any further. I'm starving." Dante argues, "What do you mean? We're going to fix you." Limbo points out they already passed 2 cafeterias and insists on eating. Dante calls him crazy for creating a fuss over food, warning that the cafeterias are dangerous and full of eyes watching them. He reminds Limbo that since his hand is broken, he can't fight and they can't stop. They must keep moving forward. Dante continues his strange walk toward Dumpling Village. The scene shifts to the information broker, where they have opened the prisoner registry. It shows the names and numbers of prisoners. When one dies, their name is crossed out. It has always been updated this way. However, the last record for number 182 was death, and for 22 years, that number was never reissued. They wonder who this person is now. One man suggests he might have just picked up a dead guy's tag, as people often steal rare numbers. Kasim disagrees, noting that as the Hound said, the boy was in that class and was issued brand new clothes. New clothes usually mean the prisoner number is real. They wonder if he didn't actually die, noting his white hair. Kasim concludes that the registry hasn't been updated for last 22 years, which is impossible for an information broker to miss. It was hidden deliberately. Kasim says seriously, the only one who could do something like that would be the administration Administration Bureau. Back at Dumpling Village, Limbo and Dante have arrived. It is a village with a hospital. Dante asks Limbo if he remembers the place. Limbo says no, but he knows it's not Tofu Village. Dante is relieved they finally left Tofu Village. Limbo warns him not to get excited because the deeper they go, the more dangerous the people will be. Inside, Dumpling Village looks surprisingly normal, like a market outside a prison with shops, people buying and selling, and even electricity. They are shocked to see a full economic system. Dante notes that while most villages are under the Shoulder's control, the one controlling this village isn't listed, meaning they must be even more cautious. His map shows other places like Slum Village, Garmaja Village, Boiler, Sunflower Village, and Shortfield Village. Dante tells Limbo to go inside, but Limbo is already at a dumpling shop. The shopkeeper, who looks like a Lego character, says one dumpling costs 0.10 grams of fog. Limbo says he has nothing. Hearing this, the Lego man punches Limbo hard, sending him flying into another shop. "So you're a thief!" the Lego man yells. Other prisoners join in, accusing them of trying to rob a famous shop. Dante is panicked. Even after being hit, Limbo mumbles, "Hand over the dumplings!" This makes Dante even more terrified. The Lego man says, "So you want the dumplings that carry the soul and history of Dumpling Village for free? Do you think dumplings are a joke?" Before Limbo can say more, Dante covers his mouth and apologizes to the Lego man. He claims Limbo is his younger brother who is sick and mentally ill. The Lego man isn't convinced, calling them robbers and pointing out Dante's suspicious mask. He says evil people aren't allowed in the village and pulls out a large knife to execute them while the crowd cheers. Suddenly, an old man who looks exactly like a dumpling shouts, "Stop it!" The Lego man stops. This is Elder Mongol Dumpling. He approaches Dante and asks, "Your brother is sick?" He notices Limbo's injured hand. The Lego man insists they tried to steal, but the elder says he doesn't even have a hand to steal with, does he? He tells Dante and Limbo to follow him. The scene shifts to the elder's house. Dante is eating dumplings while Limbo yells at him to feed him. The elder asks why they hid their faces since they are so handsome. Dante apologizes for the earlier trouble. When the elder asks about the taste, Dante says they are incredible and asks how they get ingredients in such a place. The elder replies, "We procure leftovers from the cafeteria slop." Hearing this, Dante immediately spits out the dumpling and stuffs the one in his hand into Limbo's open mouth. The elder says their dumplings are the pride of the village and that people come from all over for them, though some come for other reasons, like finding the hospital. He tells them if that's why they are here, they should stop. He shows his hands, which are covered in deep scars. He says that place is no longer a hospital. It's the Demon King's castle. That's what we call it. The scene then reveals the hospital, which looks exactly like a terrifying haunted demon castle. Dante asks, "The Demon King castle? What is this?" Dumpling Man says there is an extremely dangerous entity living inside that place. The story of Uruk and the Wall, that was also caused by that entity. It's best that you two do not go anywhere near it because no one has ever seen the Demon King and come back alive. Dante asks, "Do you mean the members of the Fog Gang are around there?" Dumpling Man replies, "No, not that level, but even getting close to that place is impossible." Dante shouts, "Wait, then what about that doctor who is there? Is no one there? We really need to see a doctor no matter what." The Dumpling Man explains, "As far as I know, there is no doctor there. That's all. I hope that when morning comes, you two leave immediately. I'll arrange for you to stay one night here. That place is no longer a hospital." After that, Dante and Limbo come to their room and sit down. Dante is thinking, what exactly was the old man trying to say? What happened here? Did the Demon King kill all the doctors? Then he asks Limbo, "When was the last time you saw the doctor?" Limbo replies, "A long time ago." Dante asks again, "I mean, exactly how long ago was a long time ago? Can you tell me in more detail? What was the hospital like at that time? What was the situation?" Limbo thinks for a moment and says, "Back then, I had lost one arm. I was hungry and dizzy too. So I went to find a hospital to get treated, and there was a doctor there." He continues, "I told the doctor, fix my arm." Dante asks, "Did you really say it like that?" Limbo says, "So the doctor replied, 'Do you want me to attach it right away, idiot?' He said something like that." Limbo adds, "So I hit him. Then he hit me back, and I hit him again." Dante asks, "You didn't kill the doctor, right?" Limbo answers, "I didn't kill him." Dante says, "So you only taught him a moderate lesson, right? That guy is still there?" Limbo replies, "He is the one who taught me that lesson." We see Limbo lying there badly injured, looking almost like a corpse. Limbo continues, "He even hit me one more time, and I fell right there. so now I'm gonna hit him back. I have to hit him. Dante says, where are you going right now? Do you even know where it is? We don't even know if the doctor is alive or dead now. Besides, the village chief already said that the hospital no longer has a doctor. But Limbo says, I heard the doctor's voice. Then we are shown someone spinning a surgical scissor on their fingers, standing near the window. The next day, we see Dante and Limbo near the Demon King's castle, which is the Nova Medical Center. There are many prisoners' corpses lying around, in very bad condition. Some corpses are very old and rotting, while some are fresh, perhaps killed just a few days ago. Dante says, it seems the bread seller's words were not lying. This place is no longer a hospital. Dante asks Limbo, are you sure there really is a doctor here? Limbo replies, I told you, I heard his voice. Dante thinks to himself, now I realize another ability of number 182. He has absurdly sharp hearing. He can hear with incredible clarity. Dante asks, what is that? Is that the doctor's voice? Limbo says, I don't know. Dante asks Limbo, is it that you have some kind of special talent? Something like abnormally sensitive hearing? Limbo answers, I don't know. I don't have anything like that. I don't have any weird talent. Dante says, no, you must have. You wouldn't be lying to me, right? Can you hear sounds that others can't hear? Tell me if there is really have an ability like that. It would definitely help us a lot. Limbo replies, I told you, I don't have anything. To test his ability, Dante closes his mouth and mumbles something very quietly, something that a normal person probably wouldn't hear. But Limbo hears Dante's words. Limbo turns around and kicks him hard, throwing him away. Dante says, I was just joking. And he thinks to himself, I barely moved my lips. I partially didn't make any sound, and yet he heard it. Then it's clear that he really does have sharp hearing. If that's the case, then this place right now, the Demon King's castle, or this hospital, I guess there is no choice but to go in and see it with our own eyes. Limbo is trying to enter the hospital directly, but Dante tells him to hide and says, can you see over there? That must be the hospital's main entrance. Can you hear any voices talking inside? And do you remember the plan I told you about? Limbo says, yes. Dante says, then tell me what the plan is. Limbo replies, knock on the door and hide as fast as possible. If the one who comes out isn't the doctor, find a weapon and run away. Dante says, very good, then let's go. The plan name, ring the bell and run. We see Limbo standing in front of the main gate. Dante is thinking, 182 has very sharp hearing. He also runs almost as fast as Rambutan. If 182 goes up there, we can safely check the situation inside the hospital. Then Limbo knocks on the main gate with his foot and immediately runs and hides. Limbo and Dante both hide and watch to see if anyone comes out, but no one comes. There is no sound either. Dante says, let's try one more time. This time, knock a little harder. Limbo does the same again. He repeats the process, knocks and hides at flash speed, but this time too, they hear no sound and no one comes out. Dante thinks that maybe the place is empty inside. Then what was that voice Limbo mentioned earlier? Now Limbo runs toward the entrance on his own, saying he will knock louder this time, and as soon as he kicks the main entrance gate, the entire gate is destroyed, and Limbo is inside the hospital. Dante shouts, number 182, are you listening to me? Get out of there quickly! But suddenly Limbo falls outward from inside, as if someone picked him up and threw him out. Dante gets scared seeing this and thinks that it might be the Demon King. Then we see someone coming out of the hospital, spinning surgical scissors. Dante sees this and says, no, it's not him. After that, we are shown a man whose entire face is covered in stitches. He says, these bastards are bothering me too much. We see a man in a doctor's uniform who looks very similar to the One Punch Man character Zombie Man.